Hey guys, welcome to Oddcast, a For Nerds by Nerds show. Today you're joined by me, Joe, my co-host Paige, and CN, and we're going to be discussing Studio Ghibli. Now's your opportunity before we dive into our content for today to hit the like and subscribe button so you can be notified when we do videos like this. And I guess we're going to dive right into what it is we love about Studio Ghibli. I mean, what's not to love?
The answer is everything.
First, we should talk about what is Studio Ghibli for those who don't know.
If you don't know, uncultured swine. No, I'm kidding. It's perfectly acceptable. A lot of people don't know or didn't know, and now they know.
They probably seen several movies.
Yeah, you don't
even
realize it.
So Studio Ghibli is an animation studio, an anime specifically formed in Japan. It was in 1985 was when it first was founded. However, the first Studio Ghibli movie technically was done before Studio Ghibli was founded, which I thought was interesting. Which was Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind was made in 1984, but Studio Ghibli was founded in 1985, which I just thought was an interesting piece of trivia. But it's a studio that's produced, I think it's at 22 movies now. Most people just assume it's all Hayao Miyazaki, who is obviously the forerunner, who is, in my opinion, the genius behind it all. But he's only done half of them. He's only directed half of the movies, which I also thought was interesting.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Disney the one that introduced Studio Ghibli to the United States?
So yes and
yes
and no.
And no?
Yeah, because they started to release the movies in theaters. That's true. It was published out there by Disney. However, I remember them hitting pay-per-view without Disney as a backer or producer for the American shores.
Well, I remember the first Studio Ghibli movie I ever watched was Kiki's Delivery Service, and it was on the Disney Channel. That was how I watched it. That was my first Studio Ghibli movie. And then I watched a couple subsequent ones on the Disney Channel, but that was really before I became an otaku, the anime obsessed. But because I was a small child when I first watched them, but I believe that Disney was an integral part of their popularity because of all of the people Disney touches, their influence.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, I think Howl's Moving Castle was presented by Disney, and I think that's how I got introduced to Howl's Moving Castle because I know they have Billy Crystal as one of the main voice actors.
Yeah, he's Calcifer.
Yeah, so. I'm pretty confident that was done due to
Was that your first Ghibli movie?
No.
I was about to say, because the Howl's Moving Castle was in 2004.
No.
It's damn.
Mine was Princess Mononoke, and to be honest, I don't even remember how I got introduced to that movie.
It might have been me, because that is my favorite one.
This was I think I might have been maybe 15 or something like that, maybe 14. But I don't know how I got introduced, but I just saw it and I was like, this is great. I don't know what this is, but
because it was great.
Fantastic.
Princess Mononoke is
dark.
It is probably their, I don't know.
Their darkest one?
No, the Tale of Princess Kaguya gets kind of dark also. And Tales from Earthsea I didn't like, but it had some darker moments. Well, no, unfortunately.
It was okay.
Well, so Tales of Earthsea is actually an adaptation of Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin, and it's a great book series, but it was really... The adaptation was not great. I'm sorry, Goro Miyazaki, who is Hayao Miyazaki's nephew. I'm sorry, but it was not great. Although I love your other Goro Miyazaki. I love your other one from Up on Poppy Hill. It's actually probably in my top 5.
There's just one thing that she doesn't like about it.
Oh my god, I know, I just found out when I was researching it and I'm so upset! Kathleen Kennedy, the person I hate the most, the person who is responsible for ruining the sequel trilogy
for Star
Wars, apparently produced from Up on Poppy Hill, and now I'm sad. I don't know, I don't want it to ruin that movie because I love that movie. It's a slice of life drama because most of what makes Studio Ghibli so popular is the fantasy that ties into. That's probably why Spirited Away is their most successful one. It's also I want to say another one won an Academy Award actually.
Wasn't it Ponyo?
Yeah, I was about to say Ponyo.
Yeah, but it was their first Academy Award was Spirited Away, and y'all gonna be mad at me. I don't really like Spirited Away that much. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's a good movie, but it's not my favorite. It's not.
You know, I think there's going to be a level of I would say, popularity when it comes to a lot of Studio Ghibli films. Like, I know
There's
My
different
Neighbor
levels.
Totoro is very popular as far as artwork. It's used
It's iconic.
It's very iconic.
Well, because Totoro is used as the icon for Studio Ghibli.
Yeah. So.
But it is honestly one of their more childish movies because it caters more to children because the main characters are small children as opposed to teenagers, which is what most of the rest of.
True.
Well, with the exception of Ponyo. Ponyo's really small children. But
Ponyo is too adorable. Like, ugh.
yeah, no, it reaches a different level because of their ages and the content. But Spirited Away is, I'm sorry, My Neighbor Totoro is a very specific. Don't laugh at me.
No, I was just laughing. My bad.
It hits a very specific audience, which is why I think it mostly. I don't know that I've ever met a man or a male who likes Totoro. My Neighbor Totoro. You like that movie?
Yeah, so do I.
No, it's just every guy I've ever talked to who likes Studio Ghibli, either they haven't even watched it, or they just think it's okay because of the content. Obviously, I don't want to say obviously. Most guys that their favorites are Princess Mononoke, Nausicaa, Castle in the Sky, or even no, pretty much just those. But the more actiony ones. But don't get me honestly, I guess my favorite ones probably are Howl's Moving Castle, Castle in the Sky, and Kiki, and From Up on Poppy Hill. Those are my favorites.
I enjoyed From Up on Poppy Hill.
It's a slice of life one, which not everybody likes slice of life anime. Period. I found that out because I like slice of life. But
I'm not a big fan of slice of life stuff, but
you need specific characters. You have to have the right characters to have a good slice of life story.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah.
I would have to agree with that.
The thing that I've always appreciated about Studio Ghibli is that he points out interesting.
It's a studio. It's not always
My
Hayao.
bad. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love Hayao Miyazaki.
That's also a really big misconception too,
Yes.
because they will say Studio Ghibli and immediately think.
Yeah.
It's all Hayao.
Yeah, it's all Hayao. So it's like.
But what I like most about Studio Ghibli films is that a lot of times they take the approach of they have a serious theme that they're trying to develop,
Absolutely.
like why war is bad or why we should protect the environment, and then they use this fantasy or slice of life type stuff to kind of get that point across. Like the point of Howl's Moving Castle is pretty much war is
Bad.
Yeah, it's
Bad for everyone.
Yeah, it doesn't just hurt the one side that's losing; it hurts both sides equally.
And all of the people standing by and the civilians. But no, you're right. That is what makes Ghibli movies so poignant is the themes and how it's not always just about the artwork. It's not just about the characters. The whole package enables you to get this larger theme across. And honestly, another one that I didn't mention is also one of my favorites is The Wind Rises. So I actually saw The Wind Rises in theaters when it first came out, and that was supposed to be Hayao Miyazaki's retirement film. His last one. As we know now, he's come back to do more, because he can't retire. He doesn't want to, obviously, which is totally fine. But The Wind Rises was so powerful. It was a really powerful movie. It was about imagination and believing in yourself, as well as loss. It had this centering around losing something that was so important to you and how you continue to live past that. It was a really powerful movie.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I like Princess Mononoke so much is because it deals with, intense themes like environmentalism and how you have to protect the environment, and if you don't, it's bad for everybody involved. And that's what it is. Like the guy's plate on his arm. And if you're looking for something more action, you try and get your friends involved or to get them to check it out. It's a good introduction to Studio Ghibli.
It is.
It's how I got interested to see what their other works were, and then of course you get to check out Howl's Moving Castle, which is funny and fanciful.
That's another one. I would if I ever tell anybody to recommend, if you've never seen one, either watch Princess Mononoke or Howl's Moving Castle. Those are the ones I recommend to start.
Actually, for me, it depends on who I'm talking to as far as gender.
Well, no, absolutely.
Well, no.
It does.
I'm talking as far as gender. So, for example, if I'm talking to a guy, I'm going to recommend either Howl's or Princess Mononoke. If it's a woman, recently, and it's because I want to say it's actually one of my favorite movies as far as in the studio, and it's Ponyo. I don't know why I love this movie.
No, it's a good movie, but
I think because
I would
so
only
many
do that if
cute
you
moments.
have kids. If the woman has kids,
Sure, yeah.
If they don't have kids, I would recommend either Howl's Moving Castle or Spirited Away to be their
Spirit was
first
a good
one.
one.
Cat
Or
Returns,
Kiki.
The Cat Returns also isn't bad.
No, the Kiki. No, I'm sorry. Cat Returns was really good, but
Kiki's
it's
is really
different.
good. Like, it's cute, it's fun, it's whimsical, but
Kiki
it's
is about
serious.
believing in yourself, which I think is something that anyone, especially women, can really get into. So that's why I would also recommend that for a woman is their first one. That was my first one, though, so it has a special place in my heart.
And Studio Ghibli's been expanding their resource pool in pop culture. I mean, we can name countless movies that we know have been inspired by Studio Ghibli that aren't actually made by Studio Ghibli. And then, of course, you've got things like Ni no Kuni, which show that they're expanding even further. They've got video games out there that play, because they're made by Studio Ghibli, like a Studio Ghibli film, which is really cool. Like, it's a fantastic story. It's a great role-playing experience where you get to dive into the art the art style of that studio and just experience, that kind of wonderment and watch what they've got, which I think is, it's a great game and it's very
Ni no
cool.
Kuni is a really good game.
But yeah, so they continue to grow. I don't know. I wonder if they're going to have something in Visions.
I looked at the art styles, and none of them looked Studio Ghibli specifically.
And he means Star Wars Visions.
Yeah. But, you never know. We don't know how many episodes there are, or at least I haven't checked. So, and we don't know how many different styles. But Studio Ghibli is very influential, more so than I think a lot of people realize, especially in anime. They're just such inspirational movies. When I'm feeling low and I need to feel inspired, I usually watch a Studio Ghibli movie. I have a set that I'm like, which one do I feel? I need this kind of pick-me-up right now. So they really bring a lot to people's lives, I feel.
And
which
the art
what
is
makes them important.
just gorgeous, like all the time.
Yeah.
Like they're so pretty to look at. Like it's awesome. Yeah. So if you guys haven't had the opportunity, definitely go check them out.
They're all on HBO Max, I believe, at the moment, if you have HBO.
If you are already a fan of them, go ahead and leave in the comments what your favorite Studio Ghibli film is and why. Or what's something that you like that's been inspired by Studio Ghibli. We'd love to hear from you. Now's your opportunity to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe notifications so that you get word when we do stuff. And I'm sure that we will dive in more into detail of maybe a Studio Ghibli film that we like that we decided we want to talk about. But thanks for joining us, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Later.